Is faith connected to religion?
As we know, one can have faith in anything. So, faith can be without religion, but it is hard to imagine religion without faith. Religions have followers who are believers. You can't follow something without believing or having faith in it. Most people, whether they are non-believers, believers, or people of faith, do continue to have some affiliation with one religion or another, even though a lot of educated urban individuals are rapidly losing confidence in the very idea of religion itself. They've developed a fear and an aversion to it because of the determined and aggressive way it has been used by some people in our time and across time. But the gap between an idea and its practice exists everywhere. In science, in art, in law, in politics, in business, and finance. This is a larger problem that has existed but is growing far too rapidly now. The values that we profess in every field, in every walk of life, are different from the ones we have tacitly agreed to practice. We hold up and keep alive the grand ideals while we follow our baser instincts. If all our efforts as individuals are geared towards putting ourselves in positions of dominance, that will also become the nature of our institutions, most of which clearly are becoming lofty but hollow structures. And yet, we don't abandon them. This fear of religion, one must never forget, is after all fear. And fear never is a good guide. For aversion to something, one needs first to understand the thing deeply before rejecting it. People believe that religion should have nothing to do with politics, nor politics with religion. They believe religion to be the pursuit of heaven, which should remain above the murkiness of politics. But a faith becomes religion only when it has followers, an organized society, a polity. And wherever there is a polity, there will be politics within and in its relations with the world outside its fold. Further, whether we like it or not, religion, as is also the case with birthplace, with language, and with gender, is not chosen but given to us in our earliest formative years. Like them, it too resides at the core of identity. And to believe that identity has nothing to do with politics is to be naive. The affinity between religion and politics should be obvious. Electoral politics too is about placing one's faith with the belief that the person or party one is voting for will perform in a predictable manner through the course of an uncertain and unpredictable future. In any case, the view of religion as a narrow, contained, and focused engagement with the spiritual realm is a mistaken one. Someone could well take the same view about art or about academics and teaching and say that these are noble professions. What do artists and teachers or even doctors and scientists have to do with politics? They should just make beautiful objects and teach, cure and heal, search and explore. But the spiritual, by its very definition, spreads itself out, seeks and embraces the whole, leaving no human activity outside its purview. Mahatma Gandhi understood this well, that one who aspires after the spirit of truth cannot afford to keep out of any sphere of life. In the concluding paragraphs of his autobiography, he writes that is the reason why his devotion to truth drew him into the field of politics. And he says, and I quote, "I can say without the slightest hesitation and yet in all humility, that those who say that religion has nothing to do with politics do not know what religion means. Unquote. It cannot be addressed more directly or stated more clearly than this, and by one more universally recognized for dedicating his life to the quest for truth in both fields. So it is not that politics alone is seeking religion for its own ends. Religion too is ready and eager to dive into politics. Like Gandhi, the religious man is not necessarily a sannyasi or one who has renounced the world. He is more likely one who has dedicated himself to the world rather than to himself if he is true. Every believer is not a bigot. In an ideal situation, we should be welcoming real and true religion into politics. It would perhaps do the dirty world of politics some good by bringing in much needed positive values. We may find it strange, and whether we approve of it or not, religion and politics will always be bedfellows. Unfortunately, in our times, somehow the worst faces of religion and of politics seem to rise more easily to the top. Mind you, it wasn't always like this. And in some way, we may also be responsible for the state of affairs because we too have a definite role to play. The real challenge before us is to create better, visionary, and progressive leadership and clean, mature politics within religions, rather than trying to remove religion from politics or even politics from religion. Sir Mark Tully, formerly of the BBC, says, "Those who welcome the loss of religion's influence on public life might recall the history of 4 nations who banished God: Revolutionary France, Nazi Germany, Stalin's Russia, and Mao's China."